got halfway through this crochet blanket before I realized I didn't tell you all about it. So I'm going to tell you all about it. This is part of my stash busting bit. I have been having a crochet itch for a while, and I've been wanting to make this. And I figured this was a good time to start it. It is the Crochet Christmas at Granny's blanket. It comes from Yarn Inspirations, and I am only using one of these suggested yarns because that's what I had in my stash, hence the stash busting. It is Red Heart Super Saver in the color Spring Green. Yes, I know what I said about Red Heart. It is trash, and I stand by that. I mean, I've had this for several years now, and it's going to be a blanket because I don't know what else to do with it. I don't want to toss it. That's a fair amount of yarn. So anyway, this blanket here. I'm halfway through with it. Today is Sunday. I started this on Friday. It is going pretty fast. It is a 35 row stripe sequence. You do it twice and then you repeat the spring green for like another 5 rows or something and do a border, and there you go. It's a great stash buster. So I'm using the only suggested yarn, like I said, is the spring green. Spring green, Red Heart. And then for my, wait, which is the, that's the, okay. Anyway, this dark green is a mystery bag. This came from AC Moore, so it was a 1 pound bag of mystery yarn. I don't know what brand it's supposed to be. I think it was, no, it wasn't mystery yarn. It was a pound of mill ends. So I don't know the brand. I don't even know the proper color for it. It's just a darkish green. It works. I'm using this in place of the patty green that the pattern wants you to use. For the white, again, I am using stash yarn, so I don't have to buy anything. I might have to buy some more, another thing of spring green. We'll see. I hope not. I won't have to try to get rid of another one, but we'll see. Then the white I am using also from AC Moore. This yarn is no longer available because the store no longer exists. There's dog hair in my yarn. It's not surprising. This was Studio Nicole. This is the color Antique White, and it's the white. It's more of like a off-white cream color, not like a very true bright white. And then for the red, I was going to do just a cherry red. I think that is Lion Brand Pound of Love that I was originally going to use. Then I remembered that I had this because I went to grab the cherry red, saw this, and figured why not add sparkles and pizzazz. So this is Karen Simply Soft Party in the color Red Sparkle. And I think that was a fantastic choice on my part. I like the sparkles. Now I also have a dark green Karen Simply Soft, this one with the sparkles, but that would be too much sparkle. So just the red sparkles. I am loving it. I don't even have to look. Well, only thing I have to look at is how many rows of each color I have to do for the sequence. And then I can crochet it without looking. I was a crocheter first before I was a knitter. So my skills are there. But I knit more than I crochet now. But this is fulfilling my crochet itch that I've had. What is the last thing I crocheted? I think it was a blanket from Mama in a Stitch. I believe it was the Sundance Throw. I was also using stash yarn for that. I used the suggested yarn in that blanket, not in the colors that it suggested. I used whatever I had. But that is the same thing. It's a granny stripe, but it's chevron which was fun. That yarn that was used for, I'm looking at her over there. The yarn that was used for that was Lion Brand Mandala. Is it Mandala? Mandala? However you say that yarn. So it's a self-striping, variegated type yarn, and the colors came out really fun. That was the last thing I crocheted. So I'm working on this because you need bright green every once in a while. How does this make me look? I don't know how that makes me look. I can't see myself. But I'm halfway through, and I am ready to start the stripe sequence over again. And then I will need to get some more white or use, because wait, where's my white? I don't know where it went. But since I no longer have access to that antique white, I think I'm going to sub in the yarn that I used in the patriotic sweater. I was, alternating white yarns for my white stripes on that. Is the Red Heart with Love. What's the color? Erin is the color on that one. And that is very close to what this AC Moore's antique white was. And I think that'll be just fine. It's going to be so subtle you won't even be able to tell unless I tell you, oh, hey, my whites are 2 different colors. I'm not going to do that. So, going to continue on with my crochet Christmas blanket. And I don't know what I'm going to do after this one. Probably work on my other wintry Christmas blanket. I know, you're probably yelling at me, aren't you already doing another Christmassy blanket? Yes. Shut up. I wanted to crochet, so I am. Anyway, continuing on, I've got my hook. I'm using 5.5 millimeter. That's the suggested hook size. I'm not worried about gauge. I never worry about gauge because I never make a gauge swatch. I never do. Here is where I ended. Now I'm, going back the other way. Yeah. I really like that I picked sparkly red instead of plain old boring red. It makes it more Christmassy if it sparkles. Back to crocheting. Okay, blanket update. I stopped here. I haven't worked on this for a couple days because, well, one, I ran out of my sparkly red yarn and I had to wait until I could get some more. And that was my next row, was sparkly red. So now that I have my sparkly red, and I got another thing of the Red Heart because I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of that one too. I will continue on with my stash busting and my crocheting, a stash busting blanket. Words. Okay. Yeah. Continue on with sparkly red and a ginger ale. This one. The Reeds. Do you like ginger ale? I like ginger ale. All right. I have a little bit of time today. I don't... The furry four-legged is outside. And the door is open, so she can come in at any time. We're going to work on the blanket as we are serenaded by the dog. That's not what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I have a little bit of time today because I don't have to work until this evening. We might get a good portion of this done. I did time myself. It takes about just over 6 minutes, like 6 minutes and 10 seconds to do an entire row. So it doesn't take that long. Yeah, we can do this. We'll get this done. Will I get this done by today? tonight, this evening? No, probably not. So I am finishing off the white and starting the red. Do you pull from the center or do you pull from the outside? I prefer a center pull. I always have. I don't like my ball or my skein to be flopping around like a fish. No. I prefer center pull. If that means I have a small bit of yarn barf, then so be it, because guess what? It's going to be used up anyway. And look, there's my center. Okay. Center pull, sparkly red. Got my scissors to cut my end. Rock on. And as we get started, up again, what are you currently watching? I am doing a rewatch of Vampire Diaries. It's like the 5th time I've done a rewatch. My son is rewatching Downton Abbey. My husband is rewatching Chuck. What are you watching? Or are you getting ready for the next Stormlight Archive book? Because my husband and my son are doing that too. Yes, I've read all of them. I've read all of the Stormlight Archive. Okay. The only Sanderson I'm behind on are the Secret Projects and Skyward. I read the first Skyward, haven't read the others because you have to be in the Sanderson mood. Yeah. But are you getting ready for Wind and Truth? I feel like I need to at least reread Rhythm of War before that one. The other ones, I could pretty much remember what happened in those. I've reread those a couple times. Hi, puppy. But Rhythm of War, I may need to do a reread of that one. Yes. Here's the pretty girl. Yes, here's the pretty girl. Should we play with yarn now? Yeah. Yeah. What are you rewatching? And what are you reading? And are you preparing for Wind and Truth? That's the main questions. I'm going to watch Vampire Diaries and crochet a Christmas blanket because that's how we roll. Please hold. We have to go for a walk. Hi there. Welcome to the car. I've run out of yarn. Again, different color this time. I ran out of the dark green yarn. So I went into Hobby Lobby to see if I can find as close of a match as I could to this color. I was not successful. Why can't I just go buy more of the same yarn, you ask? Well, because this yarn came from AC Moore and it is discontinued because AC Moore is no longer a store. So yeah, tried Hobby Lobby. Was not successful. I'm going to go across the parking lot and try Michael's. I hope I can find something at Michael's because I really don't want to go to Joann's because the Joann's on my end of town is crap. It sucks. I was in there a couple days ago getting the red sparkle yarn and the red heart yarn. It was a mess. It felt like it was a mess. I didn't like it. And I really don't want to go into Boise today. So we're hoping that Michael's has my yarn, or as close to this yarn as I can get. Excuse me as I die. All I did was breathe. Okay. Michael's was a bust. This one just also sucks. Like, I feel like their yarn section is getting smaller and smaller. And there were boxes everywhere and I couldn't get to half the yarn and I said screw it. So I came over to Joann's, the one that's a pain to get to. And I found yarn that matched my discontinued AC Moore yarn. Let me pull it out of my pocket here. So this is the yarn I was trying to match, right? See that? Okay. And ironically, the yarn that matches my discontinued yarn is the yarn suggested in the pattern. I had to buy more Red Heart yarn. And the suggested color for the dark green, which was paddy green. So if I lay my discontinued yarn over it, can you tell which one it is? Here's my discontinued yarn. Here is the yarn that I had to buy to finish my blanket. That's great. Also, I picked up some fabric remnants for something else. That's going to be a fun project. If I ever decide to make that thing that I'm thinking about. I'm not going to tell you about it because that's going to be a surprise, and maybe I will actually show you someday, make a video, whatever. Okay, time to go home, have lunch, finish the dumb blanket. Stupid Red Heart. Hey, guess what? I finished it. I know, I'm a dork, but I will fold it in half because there's no need to see all of it. It's just a throw size. Okay, so I used stash yarn for this. I only had to buy 3 skeins of yarn because I ran out of my sparkly red. I was going to run, well, I did run out of the spring green. I hate Red Heart. And then I ran out of my AC Moore dark green. And since that is discontinued and no longer exists, I had to find a dark green that was similar to it, as close as I could get. And ironically, the one that was as close as I could get was the one suggested in the pattern. So yay, more Red Heart. Yeah, working with that one, I was reminded of why it's trash. But anyway, no matter. It is done. I did run out of my original white, which was also AC Moore, go figure. And I ran out of it on the border. The one that I used to finish it was Red Heart with Love in the color Erin. That is very similar. Let me show you how close it is, all right? Okay, so the granny stripe is AC Moore. The border is Red Heart with Love. There's hardly any difference at all. Hi, puppy. Yes, I know, just a second. Look at the sparkly red. I'm so glad I made the decision to do sparkly red. So now I am feeling all sorts of Christmassy. I need to go find my Christmas tree.